Hi, everybody. We are on chapter 5 in our Junie B book, Dumb Bunny. And yesterday she saw Lucille's big fancy pool and they walked to where they were going to eat their picnic lunch. So this chapter is called The Jelly Bean Game. Lucille's daddy clapped his loud hands together. Boys and girls, please find a seat at one of the picnic tables. Lunch will be served shortly, he said. I waited to see where Sheldon was going to sit. Oh, remember, because she's going to follow Sheldon. And May waited too, because both of us had to keep track of that guy, of course. Only too bad for me, because as soon as Sheldon picked a table, Lucille sat down right next to him, and vroom, May slid in on the other side, and I got shut out. Wait, hold it. No fair, I said, and then I quick tried to squeeze myself between May and Sheldon, but May would not budge herself. I did a grrr in her face, and May hissed at me like a snake. I stood there very puzzled. I do not actually have a comeback for a snake hiss. Finally, I went to the other side of the table, and I sat across from them. That dumb May, I grumped to just myself. She keeps getting one step ahead of me today. Plus, Sheldon is one step ahead of me, too. I looked across the table. Lucille was whispering to Sheldon, very secret. May leaned her head way over and she listened through Sheldon's other ear. Whispers can come right through Sheldon's head, apparently. I put my chin in my hands. I don't stand a chance in this egg hunt, I said to Herb. He gave me a little pat. Sometimes a little pat is all a friend can do. Only guess what? Just then, something very nice happened, and it's called Lucille's Nana walked right over to where I was sitting, and she sat in the chair at the other end of the table. I jumped up real thrilled. Nana, look, it's me. It's Junie B. Jones, and you're sitting right exactly next to me, I shouted. The Nana glanced her eyes over at Lucille's mother and daddy. Yes, I know, dear. I lost in the coin toss. Uh-oh, so she didn't really want to sit by her, she said, kind of annoyed. I sat back down and I tickled her arm. This reminds me of when we ate dinner together last year, I said. That was very fun, except I accidentally broke your crystal glass. Remember that, Nana? Huh? Do you remember that? The Nana nodded. Oh, yes, I remember, she said. And then I thought back. Plus, I accidentally busted your feather pillow. And if I'm not mistaken, I spilled some beanie weenies on your expensive linen tablecloth, I said. The Nana looked at me. You're not mistaken, she said. And then I smiled and I patted her hand. Good times, I said. And then May heard me talking. Well, Lucille and I are going to have good times too, right, Lucille? When I come to swim in your pool, that will really be good times, she said. And then Sheldon looked at her and grinned. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, May. I think he's supposed to say hatched. The Nana did a little chuckle. I think you meant hatched, dear. It's don't count your chickens before they're hatched, not hashed, she said. Sheldon raised his eyebrows. Really? Are you sure about that? Because at our house, my Aunt Bunny brings chicken hash for dinner every Sunday. Chicken hash is her specialty. That's like mushed up chicken. He smiled really proud. Aunt Bunny was a chef when she was in prison. Ooh, so Aunt Bunny was in jail. The Nana's face went kind of funny, and she lowered her head onto the table, and she rested her cheek onto her napkin. I leaned my face down right next to the Nana's. Speaking of bunnies, Lucille said the Easter Bunny's going to be here today, only I haven't actually seen him yet. And so where is he anyway, Nana? Lucille did a huffy breath. Nosy Junie B. Jones, why did you have to ask that question? She said. My Nana doesn't want to talk about that, do you, Nana? You made a teensy little mistake about the bunny, and you don't want anyone to hear how you almost ruined my party. The Nana did a groan, and Lucille kept on talking. My Nana was in charge of hiring the Easter Bunny, only instead of hiring the real Easter Bunny, she hired a cheap, fake Easter Bunny. Right, Nana? The Nana did not reply, and so Lucille went on. The fake bunny came to our house to get his money yesterday, only his fur was real matty and the top of his ear was chewed off, because he was in a costume. But he told my Nana, that he freshened up nicely, and so my Nana gave him a whole bunch of cash money in advance, and then he hopped out the door and he never came back. The Nana raised her head. "Thank you, Lucille," she said. "Thank you for sharing that with everyone." "You're welcome, Nana," said Lucille, very pleasant. "You're welcome." And then the Nana rolled her eyes. Lucille does not understand sarcastic, I believe. Just then, Lucille's daddy stood up at his picnic table, and he said it was time to get the show on the road. He held up a silver bell, and he rang it in the air. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling. And then, boom, waiters started bringing food from all over the place. And it was the most delicious food that I ever saw. There were barbecued hamburgers and tasty hot dogs. Oh, I'm surprised they're having food like that at a fancy place. And crispy chicken fingers and crunchy salad and yummy potato chips and Swedish pickles. Plus also there was even delicious devilish eggs. "Whoa, what a spread," I said. And then I stuffed a devilish egg in my mouth, and I stuffed in a pickle and some chips and a giant chicken finger. I did not stop stuffing for a long time, and then finally I leaned back and I rubbed my big fat tummy. "Whew, I'm about to bust a gusset," I said. "Are you, Nana? Huh? Are you about to bust a gusset too?" What do you think that means, boys and girls? Bust a gusset. Maybe she ate too much and her pants are going to bust? The Nana frowned her eyebrows. "Ladies do not bust gussets, Junie B." I was surprised to hear that information. "Really?" I said. "Then what do ladies bust?" Roger raised his hand. "At our house, we bust our guts," he said. Herb smiled. "At our house, we bust our buttons," he said. Sheldon stood up. "At our house, we just unzip our pants," he said. A little bit so that your stomach can hang out. That's kind of funny. And after that, everyone at our table laughed and laughed, except not for the Nana. And finally, all of us got finished eating, and the waiters took our plates away. And then, wowie, wow, wow, Lucille's daddy brought out the most beautiful box I ever saw. It was wrapped in shiny yellow paper with twirly, curly ribbons, and he held it way high in the air so all of us could see it. "Whoa, whose birthday is it?" I shouted, real excited. Lucille jumped up and down and giggled. "It's not a birthday present, Junie B. It's a game prize. Before we hunt for eggs, we're going to play a very fun game, and whoever wins the prize will get the thrill of a lifetime. Right, Daddy?" The daddy smiled. "Well, we certainly hope the winner will be thrilled," he said. "It's a pretty good prize, we think." And just then he put down the box and he pulled a big jar of jelly beans out of a paper bag. "This game is called the jelly bean game," he said. "Can everyone see all the jelly beans inside the jar? We have lots of colors, don't we? We have red ones and yellow ones and blue and black and green ones and orange ones and white ones." And then he stopped and he held up his finger. "But," he said, "in this whole big jar of jelly beans, there's just one purple one." All of us made a hushy sound. "Ooh," we all said together, "just one purple?" And then the daddy smiled. And then he put the jar back in the bag so we couldn't see the colors anymore. "Okay, now I'm going to walk around to each picnic table, and each of you will have a chance to reach into the jar and pull out a jelly bean. But remember, you may only pull out one, okay?" "Okay," we all hollered. "Okay, okay." And then Lucille hurried over and held up the beautiful box. "And remember this too. The first person to pull out the purple jelly bean will get this prize," she said. "The thrill of a lifetime." So she's holding up this box, this beautiful wrapped box. All of us clapped, and then we bounced and giggled and wiggled and clapped, and we waited for the jelly bean jar to come to us. It was the nervousest, oh, she was so nervous, wait of my life, I think, because what if someone got the purple jelly bean before I even got a turn? That would ruin my whole entire chance. I put my hands in front of my eyes and I peeked through my fingers and I watched the children pick. Roger's table went first. He picked a red bean, and then Camille picked an orange bean, and Chenille picked a green bean, and Shirley picked a blue bean, and my table came next. My heartbeat was going faster. Jose picked a yellow bean, and Lenny picked a white bean, and May picked another white bean, and Sheldon picked a black bean, and then at last, it was time for me. My heart was pounding like crazy. I bent over and I did some deep breathing. The daddy held out the bag to me, and I breathed some more. Okay, Junie B, he said, anytime now. I stood up and I did a gulp, and then very slowly I reached my hand inside the bag. So here's Junie B reaching in and trying to get the purple jelly bean. Because if you get the purple jelly bean, you get to open the big present. So what do you think, boys and girls? Is she going to get it? I reached my hand inside the bag and I felt all around for purple, and I wrinkled my eyebrows real curious. What does purple feel like? Can you feel purple? I wonder, I said just to myself. And then Daddy said, please hurry up. I swished my fingers around the jar some more, and then all of a sudden I felt it. I tell you, I felt purple. It felt roundish and beanish and purplish. I grabbed it real tight, and then I quick pulled my hand right out of the jar, and I opened my fingers, and guess what? Guess what? Guess what? And we're going to have to find out what happens tomorrow. Boys and girls, what do you think? Is she going to get the purple one or not? You will have to wait and see. So see you tomorrow for Junie B, and you will find out.